then pop it on your tray. Okay? Then what's next?
Same thing. Other side.
Same thing on the side. Flip it over. Arm over the head. Cut through the tendons. Pop it like it's hot. Cut it out. Half Nelson. Okay? Then what do we do?
The same as that.
Same as that. So we're going to remove any existing abdominal cavity fat. Pull that out. We're going to separate the legs from the breast, but we're not as concerned about the skin because we're going to make it a boneless skinless. So we can come in here, cut that down. These are tiny breasts. Right? And you're going to pop it out of socket. Okay? Follow the longest muscle in the thigh down to the pelvic bone. Remove that muscle. What's that muscle called again? The oyster. They call it, in French, they call it the skinless, which means idiots leave it. Anyone ever roast chickens? You fabricate the chicken and that little nugget falls out the bottom?
Yeah.
That's the oyster. And if you think about it, all the juice runs down the cavity and settles in those two muscles. So it's just a little flavorful nugget of delicious down, basically. That's what you have. All right, so get the other oyster off the other side. Okay, and then you're going to go up over the ball and socket, down the backbone. The grandmother's house would go. Pull that off. That goes there. Leg quarter. Okay, then we do the mother cat. So back of the neck, lift up. Why is it important to get that fat off the bones? For stock. Right, exactly. How can you tell that a stock was cooked over high heat? It's cloudy, exactly. Because we were talking about the collagen in the muscles, you just knock that stuff around and knock it into oblivion. It's going to look like caca. Yep. Right, so this comes out. Then we go for the V. Now, when we go for the V, this is one side of the V here, and this is the other side of the V, right? So you're going to come to the point of the V, the lowest point of the V. When I do this, I try and put the back in my hand, so in my right hand. I come through the lowest point of the V, lift up, and you shouldn't be cutting through bone, you're cutting through the cartilage, wow, that is in between those bones. So you're coming up right between them. Once you've done that, you're going to put the neck on the board, pull it forward, causes these two little guys to jut out, right? And then I'm going to show you this way, but normally you'd have it towards you, so that you just come in and cut it down. So here, you come in behind the scapula, cut down here, and theoretically, that back should lift right out. Okay? So that comes off there. Then, what's the next step?
Keel bone.
Keel bone, right? What we're going to do here is, where the keel bone is, we're going to cut through the cartilaginous part of that keel bone. So cut through there, stop at the bone. You'll know when you hit the bone because your knife stops. Stop there. Okay? Pull your knife out. You put your thumbs on either side of that incision you just made through that cartilage. Your fingers up here right mid-breast, you're going to push down with your thumbs, which should theoretically cause that keel bone to pop up like that. Now you'll see people run their knife all the way down, but don't do that because it makes this next part difficult. I don't know why, but run your fingers down the side, that gets the cartilage loose. Turn to the side, which that drops the breast down and pushes the keel bone up. Put your fingers underneath it and pull it up and out. Okay? Now, cool thing about the keel bone, you can actually determine the age of any poultry by looking at the keel bone. The more cartilage that exists in that bone, the younger the bird is. The more bony matter that exists in that bird, the older the bird is. So if we saw a stewer, you'd really only have about that much cartilage. But these are young birds, and you can see that. The other thing you can tell about looking at the bones is, see how they're nice and purple? Right? They're dark, they're rich. Sometimes when you squeeze them, there'll be a little bit of blood that comes out of openings in the bone. That's fresh. It hasn't been frozen, it's a fresh chicken. Okay? Now, we're going to keep it on the side like this. Come in at this little bone in the rib cage. I push down here so it pops it up a little bit more. Groovy. Okay, and then I'm going to use that as my handle. Hold on to that, and as you cut down, just keep lifting that breastplate back and away. Again, when you're using your boning knife, you're really only using about that much of it. You're doing a continuation of strokes. When you get down to here, pull that bone up. follow that down and out. Whoop, get that out. Bones. Okay, and we're going to flip it around, do the same thing. Get your handle. Come in this way. Follow that down, and follow that right out. Now what's this little bone right here? Scapula, good. Remember we have the scapula which connects to the humerus. Same thing in us, scapula, humerus. Groovy. And ideally when you get done with your breast, you should have these little flappers here. You're going to trim off any excess fat. And there's your breast. Right, want me to do it one more time?